What's up, guys? I have an unusual video for you guys today. So I've been thinking, it's pretty hard at this point to shop for a pocket knife or some gear for me. Which is funny because I really enjoy pocket knives. I enjoy steel and I enjoy researching the different things about them, but I've got myself into this place, which is probably the same place that you've gotten yourself into if you're one of my viewers, where you're sort of picky and you have your certain things that you prioritize, and not a lot of knives out there meet your criteria or feel interesting or feel like a balanced enough choice. So what I figured, hey, it's high time that I make a video, not for my subscribers, but for the family, the wives, the boyfriends, partners, the significant others, if you will, or family members or friends shopping for a gift of my subscribers, and give them a little help on figuring out what the priorities are of a person who's really, really eccentrically excited about pocket knives, so that they could actually surprise their knife nerd loved one and have some assurance that it wouldn't be a flop. And so this is the challenge, okay? So if you have great faith in me and you think that I prioritize good things, my challenge for you, funny as it is to get off of this video yourself, but share the link to your significant other or family member or somebody who you know is going to be shopping for your birthday this year or something like that, to give them some ideas and let them pick a knife for you, and let me and them surprise you with something that I think will be awesome. If you don't have that much faith in me and you want to see what all the options are that I'd be recommending to your loved one, alright, you can carry on and watch the video and ruin the surprise if that's what you're into. No judgment, whatever you want to do. So right now, at this moment, I'm going to pivot and I'm going to start addressing the second crowd who eventually will make their way to this video. So, hello, family members, loved ones, friends, significant others, spouses of the subscribers of my channel. Is it super hard to shop for your knife nerd loved one? Husband, whatever? Yeah, I can understand that, and it could probably seem like, well, why is it so difficult? Why is he so picky about this or that or she? And let me tell you the different things that we are often picky about. We want a pocket knife, if it's someone who has a sort of wide range of experience, that will stay sharp for a long time. And there's actually quite a lot of variation in steel and how they do the tempering on it, in which knives stay sharp longer. They want something often that's durable, or durable enough to put to some moderately hard use. It's not going to break. They care about, does the handle material grip my hand really well? What about if it's wet? Does it have a strong lock so that when the blade's locked in place, it's not going to close on my fingers under any circumstances? Is it versatile? Can it do multiple different things? Or is it really good at slicing stuff and enjoyable to use for normal tasks? Is it easy and small to carry and kind of lightweight for the design size and specifications? Does it have quality fit and manufacturing, and is it fun kind of to play with, or does it have a pleasing build quality that sort of lasts over time? And last but not least, does it look nice? Is it fairly good looking? So no wonder, right? No wonder it's so hard for you to approach the idea of shopping for a blade for someone who is sort of at a level of being particular about that number or that collection of things. So this video is for you. I am here for you today, and I have picked out 6 designs, and I've considered all of the things that I have just said in my choice of these designs. They don't all do it perfect, because almost nothing, if you're trying to get a budget option or a cheap option, almost nothing checks all of those boxes perfectly. But what I'll do is I'll tell you the strong points, and I'll tell you which of those design elements this design sort of compromises a little bit on, and you can make an informed choice on what to get your loved one. Now, a funny part of this video is you probably may need to locate your spouse or loved one or friend's knife collection and have a look at it sneakily in order to maybe not buy them something that they already have. But many people will already have some of the models if they're really interested in pocket knives. But enough talk, let's jump into it. I will just say I am not sponsored by anybody. I will have links to all of these knives in the description, and it'll be a link that takes you directly to a website called Knife Center. I just want to spread the joy of having and using excellent pocket knives with good steel. Okay, knife number 1 is called the Ruike or Ruike. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but it's a high quality Chinese manufacturing company that uses predominantly high grade Swedish steel that's known for being very durable. And the model that I would recommend is up on the screen right now. It's called the P801. Now, this knife is such an incredible collection of features for $28. It's got all of the things that I mentioned. It's slicey, it's got a durable steel, it will stay sharp well for the price. I would give it probably like a 4.5 or a 5 out of 10 in terms of staying sharp for a long time, and I'll rate the other ones as well. But 4 or 5 out of 10 for a knife that's $28 is actually quite good. The lock is strong, it's a nice looking knife, and it has quite a high build quality. There's ball bearings in the pivot, so you can flick it out really easy. It's really fun to play with. It comes in a blacked out edition that's been stone tumbled and looks really kind of cool and tactical, and it comes in a more dressed up edition which has got plain stainless steel handles and anodized accents, so blue accents. And the knife is very, very thin. It's pretty light for how much blade you get. It's a good medium kind of length, but it's quite easy to carry. And overall, it's just a very, very, very versatile knife. I would say if you get this for your loved one, there's not a lot of things they're gonna find to complain about. It ticks a lot of the boxes that most of us have. The one thing I would say maybe they might be a little particular about that it doesn't have is great grip. Like if you were working in the kitchen with it and your hands got wet, that stainless steel can be a little bit slippery, not bad. But if that's a big concern and you know that they really, really care about that, then I would recommend spending a little bit more money and getting a knife that's called the Kizer Begleiter. It's a funny name. It's a German word that means companion. I'd recommend the Begleiter 2 because the handle material is this really rich, satisfying micarta. They usually cost about twice as much as the Ruike, but they do all of the same things right. I will say the lock is not quite as strong, but it really gets points for that rich feel and good grip in all sorts of conditions. So that's sort of like a multi-purpose cheap option and a multi-purpose middle of the road option. We're going to take a little segue here because some knife guys really prefer traditional designs. So the first two options that I have suggested are for the sort of the modern user who appreciates technical details, how the knife flicks out, high durability and stuff like that. But there is sort of a niche that misses, and that's your guys who enjoy a more traditional blade. Like a pocket knife that follows the sort of lines and designs and functions, more old world style. And for guys that enjoy a more traditional knife, I would recommend getting the Maserin Plow. These guys are just over $50. I'd recommend getting a micarta version, and make sure that you get the one that you can see is screwed together and not pinned together, because the pinned one, it's about $30 or $35, is kind of blocky and large, and I don't like it as much. It's a bit obtrusive in your pocket. But the $50-ish ones, they're really slim, they carry really easy. It's a bit of a smaller size. It's really slim and it slices amazingly. But the cool thing about it is that in contrast to many traditional designs which use materials that lack certain functions that modern knives have, like grip or long edge retention, which is staying sharp for a long time, this one actually uses a bit of a higher carbon steel, and the steel in the Maserin Plow will outcut an ordinary traditional, most things you would see in a design like this, probably about 2 or 3 to 1. It will stay sharp longer. It also has this really grippy but classy micarta material in the handles that feels really nice and grips in all conditions. So if your husband or your loved one is the if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and the old ways are the best ways, it's a little bit of a chance, but I'd say maybe splash out and get him one of these. Do take note that if the person who you're shopping for really values that high durability, the Maserin might not be for you. Now, I said that the first knife, the Ruike, was probably like a 4 or 5 out of 10, in my opinion, in terms of the edge staying sharp for a long time. I would say that the Begleiter and the Maserin are both probably in the 6 to 6.5 range in terms of staying sharp, and the rest of them that I'll share with you in this main block they're probably like a 7.5. They're really good steel, but you have to spend a lot of money to get more than a 7.5 steel. Now, the first two that I'll share with you is if your significant other, your husband, your friend, really values things that are made in America, then a great option for about $130 is a Benchmade Bugout. The Benchmade Bugout is a super popular knife, a very slicey design. It's small, it's easy to carry. So Benchmade is sort of known for this strong locking system called the Axis lock. They are like the closest that I have probably felt to this feel of like mechanical perfection. You pull that lock and there's just no friction keeping the blade from opening and closing, and it just floats out and comes back. They're just a joy to like play with and use. They do a good job in making their steel hard and balancing sort of the important characteristics that you want in a knife. The one thing that I will say about the Bugout is that it doesn't, the original version, which I'll send a link to, with the blue nylon handles, it doesn't have excellent grip if your hands got wet or something like that. That's sort of like the downside. The upside about the Bugout is that they make hundreds of different handle variations. So if the person you're shopping for doesn't like the nylon handles, what's cool about it is you can buy them this knife. If they fall in love with it, there's about 5,000 variations of aftermarket handles that if they fall in love with it later, they can go buy those and switch out the handles and fix that grip problem and have a knife that's customized, that's one step closer to that sort of one-of-a-kind and custom that a lot of these knife collectors and lovers really want. The next one that I'll suggest is a little bit more. It's about $155, and it's called a Spyderco Paramilitary 2. Now, Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is a famous knife. All of the things that I have listed, it ticks all of those boxes, basically. The one downside I would say is probably the price, because you're getting the same steel that you got in the Benchmade and a similar sort of slicing ability, but you actually have to pay a little bit more for it. A Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is an option for like your real nerds or your like most demanding users, in my opinion. It's like the knife that the nerdiest nerds have collections of all the different steels of this knife and all the different handle variations. And so it's quite a famous knife, quite a well-known knife. Make sure you check they don't already have one if you're shopping for someone who's truly a knife nerd. But it's made in the USA. It's beautiful build quality. It's got a completely all-purpose blade. It's got great ergonomics and grip. An excellent option. So there's your sort of like pretty low cost but high quality to sort of medium to kind of in the higher range to a fairly high, even for a knife guy, $150. It's like, that's a fairly high amount of money to pay. So those are all your options. I'm going to give you one more option, because if you are shopping for them for like a big event, like an anniversary or a birthday, and you feel confident enough to splash out and buy them a knife, I would recommend the Benchmade 940. The Benchmade 940 is like legendary, quintessential, like most famous EDC, we would call it, but an everyday carry pocket knife. And all of the boxes that I mentioned it just smashes those out of the park, and the build quality is so good, and the way that it flicks out, the action of it is so good, and it's just a really wonderful knife. It's a joy to use. So if you're looking for a higher, that it'd be more in the like $190 sort of range of things. But if you're looking for something for a big event that would really make a statement, if they don't have a Benchmade 940, I think that your knife nerd loved one would really be, their socks would be pretty blown off by that. If you're worried about it, try to order from a place that has a return policy. They're not going to be mad to get a $190 knife that they can send back in and have $190 toward whatever other knife on the website that they want. That's it for that. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to do a little extra credit section, but if we're already beyond the prices that you are willing to pay, you can click it off here, and I hope that you have a great time shopping and buying gifts for your knife nerd loved one. Please, if you have like a success story, or you buy one of these and they hate it, send me a comment so that I can actually know about it and enjoy that with you, and or troubleshoot how the next video that I shoot like this might go. Now this is your extra credit section, okay? If you want to go for like the real like wow factor, like the really like this is super cool for your knife nerd loved one, or alternatively, if you are shopping for a very high level or expensive knife, but they already have the ones that I've mentioned, then I would say if you look up one of the fourth or the fifth option, the Benchmade Bugout or the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, and it has some different steel. Some steel that, the normal steel that those have is called S30V. I think the Spyderco actually recently got upgraded to S45VN as their normal steel. But anyway, if it doesn't have either of those names as the steel, it's probably a limited edition version that's got a specialized high-tech steel in it. And pretty much if they took time to throw one of those specialty steels into a Benchmade Bugout or a Paramilitary 2, then it's probably like amazing. So it's a bit of a risk, and you might get a steel that they're not excited about, but you do run this chance that you might blow their ever-loving mind, and they might just be like, I can't believe you did this for me. If that feels a bit too risky for you, I'll make two steel recommendations, okay? The easiest one to find Benchmade Bugout in is called S90V. It stays sharp a really long time. It's pretty stainless and it's pretty durable. S90V is a good option for the Benchmade Bugout. Most people would not be sad to get that. If you're looking at a Paramilitary 2, it's pretty common to find Spyderco Paramilitary 2s in a steel called S110V. And S110V has a huge amount of hard vanadium in it, and the edge just lasts and lasts and lasts, and it's still a stainless steel knife. So S110V you can usually find on one of these knife websites like Knife Center or Blade HQ, a Spyderco Paramilitary 2 in S110V, and I don't know of anybody that would be upset getting that. If you know for a fact that your loved one is like, the only thing they care about is that it stays sharp as long as is humanly possible, they don't care if it rusts, they don't care about any of that stuff, then see if you can find them one in K390. K390 is like the pinnacle of like tough and hard edges that just last and keep what we would call a working edge forever and ever. The K390, if I was to get a Spyderco Paramilitary 2 in K390, I would be like, holy cow, this is the best gift I've ever got. I wish you the best of luck in shopping for your friend or loved one. For now, I'll just say peace out from the home slice.